Hello folks, Fab here. Just giving you a heads up. This is episode 526. We may refer to 524 quite a bit at the beginning. Rest assured, this is 526. I gave out the wrong show number at the beginning, and this one is my fault. Anyway, over to Kev for the start of the show.
What was the number again?
524.
You said because you didn't give any feeling. I didn't remember it. I need emotion. I remember the emotion, not the number.
534.
Two.
I don't think that was the number.
524.
524.
There we go. Hello, welcome to MGP524. I'm Kevin. With me this week, we've got Sheepdog and Pab. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Now, Anna's got the vid. She's COVIDed up to the gills.
Oh,
Worried
I think-
earlier. I thought I had it coming because I was very warm, and I thought I haven't even been near Kevin and how have I caught the vid from them? But it turned out it was just the fact that I'd had a cup of tea and a pizza, and I was wearing trousers for the first time in 6 months. Once I switched to shorts and a fan, I felt fine again.
Wow.
So maybe,
Wow is all I've got. I was trying to tell you about Anna's
well, I was going to say,
disease that she's suffering from, and you're telling me about your trousers.
have you tried that with Anna? Have you tried putting some shorts on her and sticking a fan
I
on her?
try and take her trousers off every day and very rarely succeed.
Yeah, well,
So,
tell her that Sheepdog tried it and it cured him, and she might whip him off.
I mean, I'm not going anywhere near her at the moment. Ever since she started feeling sick, I've quarantined myself in my office. I'm basically I'm surfacing every now and then to empty the Fanta bottle that I'm weeing in. And then I run upstairs. I've managed to maintain my office and our bedroom.
Hold on a minute.
Anna has the rest of the house.
You realise that this is the weekend that Assassin's Creed comes out, or came out, isn't it? So are you sure she's not faked it so that you...
Well, she's lost her smell, so she didn't want to open it. She was because she likes to smell her games when she gets them. Assassin's Creed came yesterday, and it just sat there for hours, and she wasn't going to play it. I had to force her to actually play it because without being able to smell it, she didn't want to open it. It just kind of sat there, and she was just miserable looking at it. And we're like, "There's no point having a new game if I can't smell it." So yeah, she's
You're an odd bunch,
she is
aren't
suffering with it.
You two.
I'm entirely normal.
No,
Anna
you're not.
is a little bit odd, but yeah, she's been sick. I think it might be my fault that she's sick because when we were walking into one of the theme parks last week when we were on holiday, a kid sneezed right onto my hand. Literally just turned onto my hand and sneezed on me, and I immediately said to Anna, "Have we got any hand sanitizer?" And she didn't have any because we're not prepared at all. So I kind of had my hand out to the side, just waiting to find a way to wash it. Didn't want it anywhere near my body. And at one point, she just grabbed it to hold hands with me and be all romantic and stuff. So she held the infected hand, and then I still didn't let it anywhere near the rest of my body until I could go and disinfect it. But I don't know that she disinfected afterwards, so I think she's got that kid's germs up her nose. But she started feeling sick at the weekend, tested positive, I think, on Tuesday. I've been doing tests every day, and I've managed to avoid it so far. So I felt a little bit rough. I had a little bit of a sniffle, a little bit of a cold yesterday, but now I'm fine and just ignoring it. Because if she gets me on the tail end of it, if I end up getting COVID just as Football Manager is releasing, we'll be homeless by summer. So I need to absolutely make sure I stay away from that. Otherwise, I'm going to need to hire a voice actor to replace me in all the videos that I'm going to be making over the next 6 weeks or so. So she knows she has to stay away from me. And that's why I've not let her on the podcast. I don't want to catch it through my ears.
These days, you can get an AI that would just do whatever you tell it to on a video. So you could just have an AI you talk if you get ill.
I mean, we are getting close towards that. I'm thinking of doing a new series where I don't have a face cam on, just so that I've got a series that could be taken over by an AI at any moment if I decide that I want to have some time off and just kind of get people into the idea that my face isn't always on camera.
You might be an AI now. I haven't actually checked. That Groot thing appeared on your shoulder very randomly earlier and was moving around you, and we didn't see you move it. So you could just be a computer-generated picture.
I mean, I'm wearing an old hat. So I found this hat on my bedroom floor whilst I was looking for long trousers. So I put it on immediately. But this is a hat that I haven't worn for like 4 years.
I was
so
going to say, that's the first thing we thought.
Actually is.
It's 2018 Kev hat, that. This is like, it's almost
exactly.
like he's recorded a
That's
video.
exactly what it is. I've just provided a load of old photos. It scanned my Instagram, found this hat, and been like, oh, he must wear that hat a lot. Let's put it on his head. The one thing I have got is a little bit of a cough. So every now and again, it's one of the reasons I've got my camera on. You lot listening at home can't see it, but every now and again, I'm just going to mute my microphone like I'm about to do. They'll see that I've got my hand up and I'm coughing, and they'll know to talk because I'm coughing.
I think every other time you've done that in the past, like 523 episodes, we've gone, isn't that right, Kevin? And you've gone, I was choking. And so yeah.
Well, now I've got a system. I'll just hold my hand up. We're becoming professionals in our old age. But yeah, did you two do a podcast last week, or are you lazy again?
No, I was busy anyway.
Don't ask me. I asked the question.
Don't ask you.
I said, are we doing it? And you went, nah.
No,
you two are lazy monsters.
I'm not. I'm sat here every week. Whether we're recording or not, I'm sat here.
I said on the podcast we weren't doing one because I said I was busy.
You are a monster, Sheepdog. An absolute monster.
Fine.
We've done like 2 podcasts this year. And Pab hasn't released all of them. He only releases the good ones.
That's true. No, I mean, to be fair, I mean, I've been playing the same games for the past 3 weeks, so it would have been hard to talk about them.
I've been playing the same games for the last 8 years. That's no excuse.
Yeah. Well, no, I was busy. I was worried.
I will say in advance there won't be a podcast next week either because we're all off to EGX, so there'll be no podcast next week. I'm looking on the topic of EGX, just having a little nose for their website because the last episode that you two bothered to turn up for, you really stuck the boot in and had a go at them about the fact they had no games on. The pair of you were very critical of the event.
And that was the week before. I think you find that was the week before.
That was the one we accidentally got them to share with all their audience.
Dropping in. That was where Sheepdog was dropping exclusives.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what? I told them about that, and they just thought it was funny, which is a relief. I figured they probably would find it funny. That's been quite a funny one. So we're talking about Billy Bust up there, which is going to be at EGX, and I am excited to play it. But I've been talking about this game for a while because I know the people making it, and I kept showing Ollie TikToks of it and bits and bobs. When they release things, I'd be like, look at this, because they have this level where you're running away from this owl that's trying to convince you that you should die to come to his party of dead people. And he's singing about ways that you could die and all of this. And that you're running away from him, and the level is all the things he's singing about. And the whole game is that the songs are in time with the level. And so if you sort of hover around for a bit, the song kind of plays on a bit of a loop, waiting for you to move on. It's very clever. And I was showing him that when they designed it, they just had like almost like a wall just following the character, and then they started adding the pieces to it. And I kept showing him how it's been built up layer by layer, and now he's seen like the real level with the full song on it, and he thought it was really cool, but he was very much just like, yeah, cool, whatever, you're showing me something that's cool. And then they released their beta, and loads of YouTubers started playing it. And suddenly all of his favourite YouTubers have been talking about this amazing new game called Billy Bust Up that everyone should check out, that's coming out in like a year or so, and rah, rah, rah. And now he's obsessed with it. He's playing the songs constantly. He's playing the videos on YouTube constantly. I messaged my friend the other day because I was sat at my computer and I could hear him in the other room singing about a million different ways to die and all of this. And we were driving home from a school visit yesterday, and he wanted me to put the songs on in the car and was singing along to them. And he's very excited. When I told him I was going to see the game next week and the people that make it and that, he was trying to get me to buy him some merch. He's going to tell them about me, tell them that I like the game. And I was like, they already know, because I keep mentioning in passing that you're suddenly singing it to yourself in the other room, and my influence over him is completely gone. This is the internet has taken it and told him it's cool now, and all of his friends know what it is and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm well impressed for them, because they're just an indie team of game devs that have really done a good job with their marketing, really done a good job with their they've got a publisher and all of this, and I can't wait to see how they do. Because I said to them before any of this, I was like, the characters in this would be great for a little TV show, a little cartoon, like how Cuphead got made into a cartoon. And they sort of laughed and were like, there's no way. Like, they were like, as if, like, that'd be a dream scenario. And now I'm like, well, you've just got a publisher, and, you know, people are singing your songs and stuff. You've only got to come up with a couple of compelling stories. Could be a Netflix series. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But we'll see that at EGX. It's going to be good.
Amongst all of the other hipster games, it looks like there have been some proper things announced. I'm looking through. Sheepdog told us beforehand there'd been proper things announced. I still can't see that particular hipster game on the list of games that are going to be there. But Sega and Nintendo both have booths, so that's exciting, I guess. Sega are going to be having a load of boring pab games plus Persona 3 Reload and Persona 5 Tactica, so I'll check both of those out. Nintendo have got a booth, but at the moment it only mentions Super Mario Bros. Wonder, but at least it's a game. The thing is, the Persona games and Mario, they're all games that I'm probably not going to queue to play at EGX because they're games I know I'm going to get anyway. But there's a couple of other pab games on the Sega stand. Weirdly, Sega not showing Football Manager, despite the fact we've had even more Football Manager 2024 announcements this week, and it is without doubt the most complete, most perfect version of Football Manager that's ever been made, and it will be releasing. The beta will be within a few days of EGX. And it just seems mad that once again there's absolutely no Football Manager presence. The new Forza Motorsport will be there as well, although that will have already been released on Game Pass by the time EGX happens. But that's more of a EGX scheduling thing, I think, than necessarily something for us to do a big poo-poo on. But they are the only proper publisher booths that are there. There's a lot of stuff in the hipster res zone. There's a lot of old stuff in the PC free play zone that has stuff like Team Fortress 2 and Fortnite and Left 4 Dead. Ooh. All the old stuff. There's the really, really hipster, proper cardigan wearing hipster Left Field collection area. And that's it. As of now, as we're recording less than a week before the event, the only publishers that are there are Sega and Nintendo, and between them they've got 5 games on show. So I'm not gonna stick the boot into the event again. I'm going in with an open mind. I will see what they've got to offer, but as of right now, I don't think we're going to be playing very much, boys and girls.
What always gets me is every year I read the site and I'm like, don't like the look of that game or, this game or whatever. And then when I get there, I'm like, why wasn't this one on the site? Why wasn't this one on the site? And they probably all are. But the fact they have Portal 2 and Left 4 Dead 2 and League of Legends and Hitman 3 and Fortnite, that annoys me. That is silly. Don't put them on there. It says playable games at the event, and I get that they are playable games at the event, but don't have them on the list because I start losing the will to
live. If they didn't have them on the list, there'd be 9 games on the list. But that's their problem. And they're trying. I don't even know how much a ticket to EGX is, but they're trying to charge people 80 quid for a weekend ticket. Is that? Yeah, there you go. £80 for a 4-day super pass. They're trying to charge people £80 for a ticket to this event. They can't have less than 10 playable games on the list. They've got to pad it out.
There are tons of games on here that aren't Team Fortress 2. It's just insane that Team Fortress 2 is the... Hang on, how far down the list did I have to get? I think it was the 10th game on the list.
Well, that's because it's part of that PC free play area that's got Counter-Strike and Left 4 Dead and all that kind of stuff that's on there. But
do you not think they could have that as I would have maybe had a list that was just called LAN Party and just have all the games that you want to just meet up and have a little multiplayer?
But then the list would be really, really short, and they're still fighting against the memory that we all have of those Earl's Court and early NEC ones. And I know it's never going to go back to that because I know it's turned into a different kind of event, and for whatever reason they don't want it to be the kind of event it used to be. But we used to walk around the show floor of this place and it would literally be every game that was coming out that year would be there.
Yeah, no, definitely. I remember there being the massive
it's infuriating.
Final Fantasy stand, the massive, there's been big Pokemon events there, years that they've had them out. They've got Sonic doing, was it Sonic? I forgot the bloody name, I scrolled past it. There's a Sonic game, Superstars. What is that?
It's new.
Right, okay.
It's one of the 5 games on the Sega stand.
Yeah. So when you go down the playable games list, Starship Troopers, is that a mobile game or is that a PC game?
PC game, I think.
Cool, because the original Starship Troopers game was fantastic.
I think it's I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's an RTS game.
Yeah, there's a strategy game and there's Like
so if they've got the new Starship Troopers strategy game, which I think that is already out. I've got a feeling, but I think
it's early access.
Yeah,
what the thing is.
I've not played it, so getting to play that there's going to be good. I mentioned Billy Bust Up, that is on the playable games list. Sonic Superstars I'll have a crack on. The Persona games, you're not going to play them, Kev, but like there's two there that, I haven't played a Persona game properly. I tried to play 3 on my Vita, but I've never actually sat through it. So maybe if the queue's not long, I wouldn't mind checking them out.
It does seem mad though from Sega's. I can't get over how mad Sega are with this stuff, because Persona, it's firstly they've got 2 Persona games on show. They could just show one. That would be fine. But Persona is the kind of game where if you're going to play it, you're going to play it, and a demo isn't going to hook you into converting you into playing it. Because it's the kind of game that you need to put 30 hours in to decide if you like it or not. So why they wouldn't just put Football Manager there as well is bonkers.
Well, that's
madness.
That
maybe Sports Interactive.
I don't know if they're just not ready to put it out yet.
I mean, it releases like 3 days after the event.
I mean,
it better be.
Yeah, but like, is it like
Day
they
one
don't
patch?
need? I don't know. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know what the reasoning is. I assume it's just the beta's not out yet. So
I mean, part of this problem is the way they've scheduled the event. I know we're reviewing the event before we've gone, but doing the event the middle of October, half of the silly season games are already out now anyway. That seems madness. Like Assassin's Creed is out. What else came out? Baldur's Gate, Starfield. I'm looking through the games that released in September list. There's probably more that I've forgotten about. EAFC, obviously. There's all these big games. You've got, what's it called? Spider-Man 2 is on the horizon. No sign of Sony at the event. I understood Sony and Microsoft not coming back immediately after COVID, but it's like 5 years now since Sony have had their EGX stand. The fact that they're not at the event showing Spider-Man 2 off,
that is weird.
I am struggling to work out what EGX is in 2023.
I mean, let's be honest.
It's not a LAN party. Insomnia does the LAN party stuff. It's not like a community social meetup event. Insomnia does that. It's not a pop culture thing because that's Comic-Con. But it's also not really a games event because you can't go and play any of the big games that are coming out or have just come out. I don't know. I worry how much longer EGX is going to exist for, and it'll be a real shame because I've loved going to this over the last
I'd miss
10 plus years.
Stopped. I was trying to see.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think they seem very lost with what they are actually. I don't know that even they know what they're trying to make the event be.
Maybe they should us manage it.
They should.
It
would be so simple to do. You just get Sony on the phone and say, "Why aren't you coming?" Literally ask them, "Why are you not here?" And then whatever answer they give, fix it so they come. Have the same phone call with Microsoft. Tell Nintendo to bring all of their games. If you get the big 3 back, then the other publishers start coming back as well. Ubisoft see that Sony and Microsoft are there and bring Assassin's Creed along. And all of a sudden it starts to come back again because these games are on show at other events. It's not that the companies don't show the games anymore. It's that I don't know if EGX is too expensive. I don't know if it's awkward because it's in England. I mean, is it a Brexit thing? I don't understand. I'm very confused.
I was looking at what games were at Gamescom because I thought, well, that's the one that happened recently, and Xbox were there. You know, they had a whole play it on the Xbox booth in this hall, a whole list of games. I know it's Tekken 8's already out, isn't it? You can play that.
Yeah, I mean, Football Manager did Gamescom. Football Manager did the Tokyo Games Show. Football Manager are walking distance from the XL where EGX is taking place. They went all the way to Tokyo to show their game at a games event. They've gone to Germany to show their game at a games event. It's not that Sports Interactive don't do games conventions. Yeah, well, they just don't do this one.
It says here that Bandai brought Tekken 8 to Gamescom, even though it's not out yet.
That was it. That was it. Insomnia as well.
Yeah. So why isn't that here? That's quite a big release, surely.
Exactly. I mean, I know Insomnia made quite a big deal about it being an exclusive. It was like a European exclusive or a UK exclusive or something. So I don't know if they've paid money to get it exclusive.
Do you reckon that's what's happening? Are they doing the whole... I mean, this is what Sony did to absolutely murder games for everybody else. That only the consumer gets hurt by this shenanigans, but have Insomnia decided to be a wang and add exclusivity rights to all the games they bring in? Because if they have, it's their fault, isn't it, basically? And,
but that was the one game they had.
Right.
Who know? And we don't know who's made that decision. Maybe Tekken have said, call it an exclusive because EGX haven't rung us.
Maybe, yeah. No, to be fair, I'm not trying to be...
make it seem fancy.
I'm not trying to badmouth Insomnia. I've never been there. don't want to be besmirching their good name. But
I mean, even Insomnia, the actual show floor of Insomnia, as much as I obviously loved my experience at Insomnia this year, the actual show floor, me and Anna did the whole thing in 25 minutes, and there was like 2 playable games. So it's a strange one. I don't really know where games conventions are going. I mean, we've been going to conventions for long enough now that we've already seen this happen with Comic-Con, because remember when you used to be able to buy comic books at Comic-Con? Those were the days, weren't they?
Silly granddad.
Yeah, you can't buy comic books at Comic-Con anymore. And maybe games conventions are going the same. You want to play games at a games convention? You dinosaur. What is that?
I mean, you know, I've always sort of not done that anyway, so it's not too different for me.
But at least you got to go and look around at the stands and collect your freebies from the games.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'd also just stand behind you and Anna while you were playing them. So, you know, it wasn't that I wasn't seeing them. It was, to be fair, a lot of it was I didn't want to get germs from the controllers. A lot of it was being quite satisfied with seeing you lot play it and knowing that if I had the controller, I'd have to spend half of my time just not getting it, not figuring it out properly, making a fool of myself. You know, the times when I've gone off to play a demo on my own, or even when you've been there, to be fair, you've all seen me absolutely make a hash of it and embarrass myself in front of the person that's doing it and be like, oh, didn't mean to go that way. Oh, I've fallen off again. I can't do this basic puzzle. And yeah, I don't like all that. It's a bit embarrassing. So,
well, yeah. I mean, when the dates for EGX were announced, I booked 5 nights in a hotel and was planning to be there from Thursday morning to Sunday night. And I mean, that was based partly on, I figured everything should be back to normal now. The event's got a little bit bigger again the last few years. We should get a real EGX back this year. Plus, last year, I did a panel on the Thursday and a panel on the Sunday. So I figured, right, let's just book the whole thing, plan to be there the whole time. We've got to like 10 days out from the event, and I've dropped it down to 2 days in the hotel. We'll turn up at some point on Friday. I don't know what time you lot are planning on getting there. Me and Anna aren't rushing there to be there at opening time on Friday, I don't think.
Yeah.
And we'll head home Sunday afternoon sometime. And I've spent the last week bombarding your DMs with activities we can fill the weekend with, because I have a vision of us being done by 3:00 on Friday. We don't need to come back in here.
I'm worried because
having to fill the rest of the weekend.
I've obviously so I'm staying because I didn't realize I didn't book a hotel. I thought I'd booked a hotel for this, but I booked 2 for Comic-Con.
You really?
Yeah, I did.
You booked 2 for the set. How?
I booked 2 Premier Inns for the Comic-Con weekend.
2 different Premier Inns?
2 different rooms in the same one.
You could probably sell that on at a profit now. That
oh no, like an absolute moose. I just cancelled it and then thought to myself, hang on, I could have, yeah. But no, I sort of went on there to check it all out and was like, I don't seem to have a hotel for was it the 13th?
Yeah.
And just as I was like, that was just as my friend had said their game was going to be there, and I was like saying to Bex and Matt, I was like, well, they're going to be there with their game. We've not met them yet. You should come and we can actually go and meet them for the first time and actually hang out. Because part of me was like, the next time we have an opportunity to meet them, they're probably going to be they're about to be the people who developed that game that went very viral and all that. I was like, they might not have time for us then. We should probably meet them now while we can. And anyway, so they said they'd book somewhere, and then I was like, well, I'm trying to book in our hotel, and there was nothing. I could have got a room. I think there was a disabled room I could have booked, but it's like a family room, so it was a room that's intended for 5 people, and I was like, I'm not booking it myself. That seems a bit selfish.
Why not?
Well, because APAB, because it was like
Is it more?
350, 400 quid. And I was umming and ahhing whether that was the best I was going to get. And then we between us, we've got like an Airbnb that cost me like 100 quid. I've got a room in an Airbnb, and then they're staying in other rooms. It's just an apartment. But it's over by EGX as well, so I don't have to do the whole rigmarole with the train in the morning. But on the Friday, like Kev said, I don't really know what I'm doing on the Friday. But my current plan is get there probably after work. I don't have the day off. But if I have the day off, then I'll get down there and I'll come in and I'll probably see you in there and go from there. But Saturday I'll be with you lot, and then Sunday I was just going to go to EGX, possibly for the first time that weekend, depending on how the Friday goes. But I felt a little bit bad because I've obviously encouraged my friends to go to it. And then I'm like, yeah, but I'm not coming with you on the Saturday, and I might not be there on the Friday, and I'm going to be out with Kevin, Pab, and Anna on the Saturday, and then I'll go in it on the Sunday, and it's like, by that point, they'll have already met this person, and it's just, yeah, it's the plan has been wrecked by just, yeah, there'd not be much reason to go. Like, if there was loads of stuff, I'd be like, well, maybe I will go on the Saturday, but I just know that it's just going to be madly overfilled and different, isn't it?
All that being said, if there's anyone from EGX listening, which if there is, we're probably not going anymore. But if there is anyone from EGX listening who'd like to come on the podcast and just explain what the event is about now, I'd happily have that conversation.
Yeah,
I'd quite like to understand the thinking behind it, because as someone who's been getting on for 15 years now, we've seen lots of versions of EGX, and I like this version the least, I think.
Yeah, and I think
so. I'd love to have that conversation.
I think our listeners must know us well enough now, and everyone listening must know well enough. If we were having a pop and having a moan and whatever, I've moaned plenty over the years about different things. This ain't us having a moan. This ain't us being critical or being rude or, biting the hand that gives us access to their events. It's pointing out that, like, these used to be the most epic event in UK gaming, and it's just not that anymore. And I don't, like Kev said, we don't really get why, and it'd be cool to find out. But I still want to go. I'm still excited to go. I still dragged a load of people. I couldn't remember what the past tense.
He's still drugged a load of people. He always does. He's drugged a load of people and booked an Airbnb. It's going to be a happy weekend for Sheepdog.
To attend is what I was trying to say. I've managed to, off the back of me going, I've managed to get multiple people going because it's going to be a good old weekend. But I just feel, they're not going to get. I mean, they enjoyed it last year, but they're not comparing it to the epic ones. And
Can I just point out there is a Football Manager panel on Saturday?
There's what?
There is a Football Manager panel on the Saturday.
I need more information. Who's on that?
Series creator Miles Jacobson.
Oh, okay, so not a proper one.
I mean, it's
a more proper one.
Not a good one that people are going to want to watch. Okay. You know what? That means I've got to be in there on a Saturday. What time's that? I've got to go.
Like 2 p.m.
For goodness sake.
Yeah.
But again, without wanting to go on and on about how bonkers this event is, how do I not know about that?
I mean, a bit surprising.
I did see this last week, and I forgot to tell you about it.
Well, that's on you, Pappy.
It's just because I was just looking through the panel stuff. I just noticed it again.
Oh, do you know what? Clicking around on their site outside of the playable games list, there are other things on here that do look pretty cool. They've got the custom controller room where they've got all these wild and wacky controller interfaces and stuff like that set out, apparently. They've got their arcade zone, which you already knew about. Handheld zone. It's like the old days where you could bring your Street Pass along, but obviously there's no Street Pass these days, which is Nintendo's fault. Dice Breaker Zone.
Don't get me started on that, because that should have been an iPhone app 5 years ago, and I still don't understand why it's not now.
I feel like if it was an iPhone app, it would have burnt everyone out. I feel like it should have been a Switch app, though. Because I only ever brought my 3DS with me to EGX to get those Street Passes. I would have been bringing my Switch down if it was a thing. But they've got different areas. What's this? You can get your portfolio reviewed. I don't really know what that means, but there's a portfolio.
Oh yeah, I'd like to have my portfolio reviewed. Yeah, that sounds good.
Community hub.
Oh, they've got the after hours section as well, where you can play Counter-Strike and drink beer. So maybe we'll do that.
See, we never have done those out of hours things because you don't drink enough.
Because we don't. Enough. There's a reason for that.
I don't play Counter-Strike or drink or like to be anywhere at 9:30 in the evening.
I do not want to be at the Excel at 9 in the evening.
No,
with nothing else around you.
That's madness, Sheepdog. You're a madman.
To be fair, my place is near there, so maybe I'll that'll be the day.
But anyway, that's EGX. We'll be there next week. That's why there's no podcast next week. We'll tell you all about it the week after, if they let us in after this. Because this is now twice in 3 episodes we've got at them now. Gone for the throat.
Don't be atting EGX for this episode, mate.
I'll do my best. Just on that note, so yeah, we're not here because of EGX next week. The week after, I should be in Spain or some kind of hot place with
I'm not
inclusive food.
The week after.
And then the week after that is Comic-Con. So you ain't got any.
Well, unlike you two cowards, I'm capable of doing a podcast without you.
Hey, no, I was just busy last week. I wasn't. I've done podcasts with Pat.
Please do it.
Podcast on your own. If you
I mean, I'll be sending you the files. I'm not editing it. What do you think I am?
But after this week, I'm not back until the 3rd, basically. And then I'm in Norway the week after. And then it's Mrs.
So
Sheepdog's
Sheepdog
birthday.
has left the podcast, is what he's getting at.
You got me on the
Is
3rd and the 24th, I think, at this rate. Maybe the 17th. It depends what Mrs. Sheepdog wants to do on her birthday.
I mean, who cares? Who cares? Right, we should probably talk about some video games. I've played EAFC, and I've played loads of it. I've played hundreds of matches of EAFC. I am very much enjoying it. It is a lot of fun. I even had a little look at career mode to see how it compares to Football Manager. Spoilers, it doesn't. But yeah, Ultimate Team, I've been really, really enjoying. I think I've played more Ultimate Team this year than I have the last 5 years combined. I think it probably helps that I finished my Football Manager save. I was on holiday and then I got back at Anna's Hill, so we're not really going anywhere, doing anything. I'm not streaming. I've basically had a week off. We had a couple of weeks travelling around filming in lots of different places, and now I've basically had a week's holiday this week where I've just sat in my pants watching my Looney Tunes Golden Collection on one monitor and playing Ultimate Team on the other, and I've had a lovely time. I qualified for Champions for the first time and absolutely got my trousers handed to me over and over and over again. I don't like a game mode that describes itself as play the best of the best. I did. I lost 13-4 in my first match. That wasn't a fun time. So yeah, I'm not gonna play in champs again anytime soon. But I'm just enjoying the game. It plays nicely, and it's FIFA, innit? FIFA without the name. It's good. There's not a lot to say about it because it's just the same game we've had for the last 10 years. But I am enjoying it a lot this year. It's a lot of fun, and I think it's actually been a little bit easier. I don't know if I've just had more pack luck. I don't think I've spent more money than usual, but I've got a team now where I genuinely look at that and I'm like, that team isn't getting any better unless I get like Mbappe or an icon or something. The sort of cards that cost 3 million points or coins. I can never remember which way round it is. So without me spending thousands more pounds on it, which I'm not going to do, I'm not going to be able to improve my team any further. So I've kind of maxed it out for he's spent too much on this level rather than he's in trouble level. So yeah, I've had a lot of fun with it. And then the only other thing going on, of course, Football Manager. We've had more announcements for that. I tell you what, they've announced so much exciting stuff for Football Manager in the 2 weeks since we've last done a podcast, and I know anyone who really cares will already know and will have already watched my video, so I'll be very, very brief. But the new set piece creator has been long overdue for years. They reckon they've fixed international football. We already knew they had the save backwards compatibility. They have 3 different game modes in the game now, which is completely new for Football Manager. They still have their old original mode, but they now have 2 modes that are new and different. The real world mode is the game, the date of the game, and all the squads are set according to the date when the game starts. So if your in-game start date is like the 1st of July, it will have all of the transfers that happened in real life up to the 1st of July, but the ones that happened after the 1st of July will come through on the date they actually happen in real life. So if someone signed on deadline day, they won't arrive at your club until deadline day. As you get further into the season, if someone arrives in the middle of the January transfer window, they don't appear in your game until the middle of January. So Real World looks interesting, but they also have a version, which is the one I'm most excited about, called Your World, where none of the transfers happen at all. They basically wind it back to pre-transfers happening, so you can basically do it better than it was done in real life. So I've immediately decided, well, for the beta, I'm going to be managing Chelsea because I can do their transfer window better than they did. And it just opens up lots of different ways to play the game. As well as that, there's been improvements to things like the transfer system, the in-game AI, the squad planner. They've basically announced enough features already this year to fill 3 games. It is, when they announced FM24 and FM25 at the same time, as a Football Manager content creator, I was panicking a little bit that FM24 was going to be a tough year because everyone would wait for FM25. I've almost flipped on my head on that now. I think FM24 is going to be the best version they've ever released by a million miles, and FM25 is just going to be the same game with a lick of paint and a bit of a graphical upgrade and a new user interface. But the actual features are all coming this year, and this year's game is probably going to be the most complete and most polished, not just that we've ever had, but also that we're likely to have for the next 5 years, because the first one that's built in Unity is going to be a mess, I imagine, because it's the first one built in Unity, and they'll just want to get the minimum level of stuff working, and then they'll carry on adding stuff into it over the next multiple years. So I think if you've ever been tempted to try Football Manager, this is likely to be the best version ever up to this point, and also the best version you're going to see for the next several years. So this is the year. FM24 is the one. And of course, you can pre-order it using discount code LaLujo at Fanatical to get it cheaper than on Steam, than on Epic. It's £35 and 5p with my discount code, which is the cheapest you can buy it from any Sega authorised retailer. And being a Sega authorised retailer means you get access to the early access. They don't call it the beta anymore. The early access on PC, which should be within the next week or 2. They had a little bit of a slip up on social media today when they said it was 2 or 3 weeks before release rather than their normal standard 2 weeks before release. So now we all know it's going to be out 3 weeks before release, because they immediately withdrew it. Like, we made a mistake. It's definitely 2 weeks. But yeah, it's obviously coming out 3 weeks before, which would mean end of next week-ish. So maybe this time next week. If it comes out while we're at EGX, enjoy yourselves, chaps. I ain't coming.
I mean, it's going to be a weird weekend, isn't it? I feel, if you disappear.
If Miles is there on stage at EGX doing his panel saying, "Oh, and by the way, the beta's available now," I am going to curse at him from the audience and run to my car. For goodness sake, Miles! I'm 2 hours from home. What are you doing to me?
It is weird that he would potentially do that when you're one of his biggest marketing outlets, if that makes sense.
He'd do it just to troll me.
Yes, but still seems
he hasn't been opening my gifts on Pokemon Go either. I think we've got beef that I'm not aware of. He went to Japan for a week and didn't send me any gifts. I'm a little bit. That's going to be my question at the panel. Miles, you went to Japan and didn't send me any gifts on Pokemon Go. Do you want to talk me through the thought process there? Because I went to France and sent you some.
I mean,
so,
we live in very different worlds, because I can't move for Japanese gifts on Pokemon Go, and it grinds my gears. I actually get to the point now where if I click on a gift and it says it's from someone in Japan, I unfriend them, because there's just 150 Japanese people on my friend list, and then through that,
what happens when you buy all your friends off of dodgy Pokemon
I just
Go
tweet,
websites?
add me as a friend, and obviously I'm big in Japan, apparently. I was delighted.
You're big everywhere, Sheepdog.
I was delighted when I was scrolling through people and found I had a Hawaiian person on my list, because that's where the rarest of the pavilions are. But I completed that quite quick in the end, that task. But yeah, I don't appreciate how many Japanese people are on my list. It means I'm just inundated with that type of pavilion all the time. But yeah, no. That was a good segue, because I've been playing that, obviously, as always. There was something I was going to say about it that I've forgotten, so hopefully I'll come back to that in a minute. But the DLC I thought I was finishing. I thought, right, I'm at the end of the DLC because I have caught the legends on the box, on the advert, whatever it is. That's all done. I've caught the Pokemon you can catch in it. And then somebody told me that there is well, first off, people were telling me the game Ogre Ousting is there's a prize for getting a shiny Munchlax if you get the highest score on that, but it's also multiplayer. So you can get a team of 4 together, and the idea is you got to get through, depending on what difficulty level you're on. So easy, I think it's 6 rounds, mediums like 8 rounds, and hard is 10 rounds. And the idea is you've got to run around this map collecting these berries by running through these like inflatable ogres, and then you've got to get back to like base and put berries in the right. So there's green berries, red berries, grey berries, and blueberries, and you've got to. It will tell you how many you got to collect. It will say this round you need 5 red, 12 green, 6 blue, and 10 grey, and the 4 of you run off in different directions to try and grab them all. But the moment one of you puts a berry in the table, you start having like Squavits, Munchlaxes, and Snorlaxes running for your table to try and eat all the food. So then you have to have someone stay at base and roar at them to scare them away so they don't eat all your food. And obviously the first few levels are quite easy because it's like 4 of you having to get like 5 of each colour, but by the 10th round it's like you got to go get 60 reds and 57 blues and whatever, and they're not immediately available, so you got to go hunting for them, but you've got like a minute to do it, and it becomes such a panic. And every time we failed, so we did the hard mode and we got to level 8 and level 9 I think 3 times I want to say while we were doing it, and every time we failed it was like I was running for the green basket and had to put 3 in it to pass, and we literally just ran out of seconds just as we were doing it. One of us would be moments away, and it was just very well designed that you literally just run out of time just at the death. It's very close each time. So I spent I thought my plan was to do a stream where I was just going to rattle off all the side bits. I was going to do an Ogre House to get the Munchlax. I was going to go and play some other bits, and I was going to be done. I spent like an hour and a half doing the Ogre Ousting, and then the people we were playing with had to go. So I was like, oh no, cool, we'll do more of that on Sunday. That was very, very fun. And then I said I'd start. There's this like side story quest where if you complete it, you get like 1 million, whatever the currency's called in the game. I thought I just had to go and speak to this lady, and then she's going to send me to get an item, and that was that. But it's this hilarious like influencer. I can't remember what they're called, the Glitterati or something like that. And the dialogue is amazing. Like if you haven't played the DLC yet, or you haven't spoken to the Glitterati, they are hilarious. And you just they basically say, you talk to them, they want to battle you. If you win the battle, they give you a decent amount of money, and then they'll say, oh, I'm bored here, let's go stand somewhere else. And one of them will say like, oh, I heard there's a beautiful waterfall in Payday, I'm going to go there next. So you have to try and like guess where they're going to be and find them. So if you're playing the game just wandering around, you might come across them anyway, but if you're just trying to do their missions, you've got to try and figure out where they're going to be next and go and hunt them down on the map. So following that has been fun, and it's not battling every time, there's different things they want you to do. But I'm just impressed that no one, other than someone in my chat, no one had been mentioning this as one of the tasks of the DLC. Because I haven't read spoilers, I didn't know it existed, and I'm wondering what else I haven't seen in it. It's quite packed, and I'm thinking it's not long till the next one's out. It's it's meant to be out by the end of the year, so I'm guessing that can only be sometime in the next 11 weeks, right? I think that's how long's left of the year.
What's out in the next?
I'm sure when I bought it, it said the next one was out in like April.
I feel like it just had random dates on it.
No, I think you're right. I think it was end of the year, but I
Sorry, I'm typing. The listeners probably hearing me tippity.
I've not really paid that much attention to it.
I still haven't played this yet. I've got it downloaded, but yeah, just haven't had the time to play it. Maybe I could amuse myself with that over the weekend.
Maybe you should. I'm just seeing whether it mentions when it's out anywhere. Accept all cookies.
Did it not give a year, a rough date? I thought it did give a rough date.
It does say the 30th of April on the.
Yeah, I'm sure it said
store,
April when I got it,
but I don't think that's right.
That sounds.
It would be weird to rush them both out before the end of the year. There's not really any reason to do that.
This is what I thought, but then it says on Cerebi.net, which is the most comprehensively up to date Pokemon resource on the internet, they say winter 2023.
April's just after winter.
It's not 2023 though, is it?
Got you there.
Winter 2023 runs until like February, March 2024. Doesn't start till Christmas and runs through there.
Nah. But I liked how this... So, it's not spoilery to say this because it's straight off the bat they mention it. But the story of the second half, they kind of just talk about and acknowledge is happening, and it's like in last gen's game, you went to the Isle of Armor and then you went to the Crown Tundra, and they weren't really linked at all, except they weren't linked at all. The Crown Tundra was linked to the main story a little bit, like very, very, very loosely, that there was a character there you thought was one of the bad guys from the main game, but it turned out he just looked like him. But they weren't really linked to stories at all. They were just 3 individual spaces, and no one really, other than acknowledging you were the champion, no one else did anything. Whereas when you're wandering around, I can't remember the name of the island in this DLC, they're kind of referencing the fact that they want to go and do some research in Area Zero, that they want to... someone mentions that they are one step closer to understanding more about Terrapagos, which is the turtle that's in the next DLC, and yeah, they just talk about some of this stuff as though it's part and parcel of it all, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. So you are treating it like one big story. The fact it's supposedly coming out in winter 2023 genuinely makes me think they might announce a part 3 and a part 4 next year. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but it doesn't. It seems almost too quick to me, like you said, compared to before. And sure,
I'd be more inclined to trust the date that's on the actual Nintendo store.
I wouldn't. Firstly, because it said that for the part 1 anyway. That's another thing I didn't mention. Because when I was chatting to one of my friends, I said, "Oh yeah, the Pokemon DLC's out this weekend," and they were like, "What? No, it's not. It's out till whatever." And I was like, "What are you talking about? It's out this weekend." And then they went and looked at the store and said, "In the store it says this." And then like I think the day it came out, it updated, or the day before it updated. So I don't trust the Nintendo thing at all. But if it does turn out to be right, never mind. Fine. It just seems odd that so many different places are... Amazon says release date winter 2023. Again, I know that's not with Nintendo, but Nintendo aren't the Pokemon company, so, you know.
They're what?
Although, saying that, Amazon says winter 2023, and then when you scroll down, it says scheduled for release by the 30th of April 2024, until Mask has scheduled for release by the 31st of December 2023. So yeah, they're definitely just punting dates out for a laugh. Because
on the topic of Amazon, I've just noticed on Amazon, Detective Pikachu Returns is out. I'm surprised you're not waffling on about that.
I haven't played the first one. I wouldn't know what he was returning from. I have never...
The shops or something, I guess.
Never touched the Detective Pikachu game. I'm sure it's great, but I'm not very good at solving mysteries. That's why my private investigation firm shut down. You are well aware of this. So many missing people. So many people lost.
I just wanted to make you talk about that on the podcast.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. I don't like failure, and it eats me alive knowing that I failed all of those people. But I just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, the only thing you fiddled out of was going to prison for it, but, you know.
But, yeah, no, you know me. I'm not allowed to investigate crime under court order anymore, so, yeah. I've also been playing, what is it called? Bloody hell, Shadow of the Colossus. I thought I'd mixed up 2 game names there.
Oh, okay.
I am 9 colossi through that now. I don't know what the plural of Colossus is, but...
yeah, that one. Colossus.
Okay. My youngest, Ben, absolutely loves this. And I love it too. It's great. But I am loving that we have our little routine where I'm like, how many Colossuses shall we beat today? And he's like, let's try and go for 2. Which I'm glad he says that, because I think Ollie would have gone 10. Let's sit here and kill 10. And then I'd have been like, oh, it's going to take me hours. But Ben's reasonable. He says 2. So today we had what did we beat up? We beat up a lizard that shoots fire out, and then we went after this giant weird crab thing with a hairy belly, which I just couldn't figure out. I was literally just like all the other ones. I've been like, oh, what we're going on here? Blah, blah, blah. And then eventually I figured it out. This crab one, it just kept saying to me, even the colossus can't handle the earth or something like that. And then after about 15 minutes, it was like, try aiming for its legs. But it just kept repeating it, try aiming for its legs, try aiming for... And I still don't know what that meant, because I ended up just like typing in Colossus 9 on Google. I was like, what on earth am I supposed to be doing with this? Because
I reckon you should have aimed for the legs.
Well, Ben suggested that the... So my 6-year-old suggested that the geezers that were spraying water out maybe had something to do with the puzzle of the beating it. And that had like occurred to me, but when I tried to get it to wander that way, it just stood there from a distance firing balls of fire at me. So I went towards the geezers. I tried luring it there. I tried whistling at it. I tried shooting bows at it. It wasn't coming. So I'd written that off very quickly. But Ben kept being like, well, why would they be there? Surely they must be there for a reason. And so I kept trying to like figure it out while also thinking he's probably right. It does seem right. And then eventually I typed it in and said, we must have spent half an hour just I hadn't done a single bit of damage to this thing. And I'd got the 3 before that I'd killed like first or second try, pretty well. I'd figured it out. So with this one, it was just like, I don't know why it's not working. We established it had a hairy belly, and I thought, well, if I jump off the horse and grab hold of the hair, maybe I can climb up it. But all I did was dangle from its belly hair while it walked around, and that was just weird. But it turned out, the geezers, it had to stand right over it, and then it would shoot it. It'd lift its foot up a funny way. You'd shoot it in the foot with your bow and arrow. If you shot 2 of its feet, it would roll on its back, and then you could climb up it. And it was convoluted as hell. And there was no way I was going to figure that out. I felt like it was encouraged. It was probably to flog a walkthrough book back in the original days when it came out. But we are really enjoying it, and I know that this game's got quite a good kind of payoff to it from just word on the grapevine. I don't know the story, I don't know the payoff. I've avoided that. I always knew I'd play it, so I've avoided being spoiled, and I don't want to be spoiled, obviously. And so it's been fun, sort of speculating with Ben about, I wonder if this is what's going to happen, or I wonder if and suggesting to him what I think's happening in the game, and he's suggesting things. I mean, it'd be quite entertaining if he's right and I'm wrong, because again, he's 6 and this isn't really aimed at his age group, but he's enjoying it immensely. I was trying to encourage him to build some colossuses out of Lego so that he could have like little Lego men hanging off the back of him and stuff like that, which he thought was an amazing idea, and he plans to do at some point. But that was really, really good fun. I remembered what I wanted to say about Pokemon Go. I don't know why more people aren't doing this, and to the point where I've actually recorded a little video that I'm planning on putting out at some point. I recorded the video on my phone because it's of my phone screen, and then I need to put a voiceover on it to explain what on earth is going on in the video. But in Pokemon Go, I have caught like an insane amount of level 1 Pokemon over the time I've been playing it, and I left them in my inventory because I was like, it's a level 1, brilliant. They're just completely pointless. Their CP is like below sort of 30. They're the weakest of the weak. They're tiny, so some of them are like 10 CP. About a month ago, or maybe a bit longer, it occurred to me that I had like a level 1 Larvitar and Gibble that were shiny, and I evolved them all the way, but because they don't level up when you evolve them in this game. So I've got like a shiny Gibble at the moment that's level 1, and if I make it a Garchomp, it will still be a level 1 Garchomp. You can't do that in any other Pokemon game. They only evolve at their level in Pokemon games. So I started putting these level 1 shinies or fully evolved dragons into Pokemon Home, and then just offering them up for whatever the rarest Pokemon available are. And people lap them up to the point where the DLC Pokemon that they brought out, like Ogerpon and all of that, I've got like multiples of them now, and I'm using them to trade for rare things or shiny things or whatever it is. I need 2 Pokemon forms to complete my dex, and I went on Reddit, and someone said they had it, and they would trade me for 1 of 2 shinies that I didn't have. Within 2 minutes, I'd gone and got those, and was like, right, I am ready to trade you now. They haven't come back to me yet, which is annoying, but that no one else seems to be doing this. I don't get it. and part of me is like, don't kill the golden goose by telling the world, but I've literally just told people here, and I'm doing a video about it. People love it. People love having a level 1 shiny, fully evolved Pokemon that's just like an ornament. Like, look at them; they're like an absolute baby. They couldn't say boo to a goose. And in my video, I purposely picked really rubbish Pokemon as well, just to show that it wasn't because it was a Garchomp. You know, I put a level 1 Golduck and a level 1 of this bug type Pokemon, and they traded for there's a Pokemon that you have to own Legends Arceus. You have to catch all 99 or whatever it is Pokemon in the game. You have to faff through 3 bosses, and then you catch an Amorous. And someone traded me their Enamorous for a level 1 fully evolved bug that is literally useless. I just find it fun and hilarious and like cool. People love it. So if you have Pokemon at home, which I don't know, you probably do, Kev, don't you?
I certainly pay for it.
Yeah, and you probably have Pokemon Go.
That sounds familiar.
If you ever were in the mood to get some of the rarer Pokemon, that is a route to do so. I can't imagine you're particularly going to go nuts over it. But, I am loving it. And if anyone wants any advice on that, because there's specific shinies they want and whatever, get in touch, let me know, and I'll try and help you out. But, I've had a good week with that. I've just been chucking stuff in, and as I say, recorded a little video out of it. And, what have you been up to, Pabby?
Oh, I mean...
What haven't you been up to?
Exactly, Sheepdog. It's been a few weeks. Turns out games are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Can you believe it? Games
Adam
are
and
coming
Eve.
out. Yeah. What have I played? Like Kev mentioned at the start of the show, Assassin's Creed came out. It did. No, Kev's not a fan.
Believe you.
Yeah, Kev's not.
No, I actually tweeted at Ubisoft today.
I did
would
see
you
that.
would you like me to read my tweet to you? I'm going to read it to you anyway for the benefit of the listeners.
I already read it.
I tweeted. Well, are you the listener? I put, "Hey Ubisoft UK." I thought I'd start with the UK ones, and then we'd branch out from there. I loved the Desmond storyline from the first few Assassin's Creed games, and tolerated the boring, stealthy history bits to get to it. Not played the last 5 or 6 games. Can you collect all the modern day bits from those games into one game for me? No history stuff. Tar. No reply from Ubisoft just yet.
I feel like we have heard you say this over the past 5 releases of this game.
Oh yeah, and you'll get it from me every year because I will never let it go. The Desmond storyline was great and they dropped it like a stone to prance around in history, and I hate it and I hate them and it needs fixing.
I feel like we all have our hill that we're dying on with games. Yours is this, mine is why Square keep changing the battle of battle style of Final Fantasy games. And have you got one, Pabby? What are Metroidvania is doing to grind your gears?
I don't know because I don't overly like them.
You love them.
You can't get enough.
I play them doesn't mean I like them.
That's a weird sentence.
Oh, no one likes them.
But I don't. From what I've seen, from like the 3.5 to 4 hours that I've played, I've not seen any like non-historical stuff, shall I say?
God, I hate them.
I don't think it's in this game. I genuinely don't think it's in this
That
game.
is awful. The one good bit, and they've ruined it. I made it into a boring, stealthy history game. Ugh.
Yeah, people like that though.
It's just
The weird thing is they don't even
It's
follow
every
actual
other
history, do
game.
they, though? They make it up themselves. So it's like they're still right. They go to the hassle of writing a story, and then they're being like, yeah, it's set in an era.
Yeah, it's just the era type. It's not like it's not a biography. But this one is a shorter game, a smaller game, to say. Still massive, but I think it was originally supposed to be DLC for Valhalla, because it is based on the beginnings of Basim, who was in Valhalla, who was one of the people that gave Ivor the Assassin's Creed stuff in Valhalla. So we go back to his beginnings and how he became an assassin, and it's all that sort of thing, and it's set in Baghdad. And yeah, so far I've enjoyed what I've played. I feel like it does kind of more get to the point quicker. It's not doing the 2 or 3 hours before you get to the title card. It's pretty quick with that, I'd say. It's people have said like it goes, or the people have compared it to like goes back to its roots of the older ones, and I can see that quite a bit because I mean in recent years, let's say the Valhalla, the Odyssey, the Origins, they became more RPG based, I want to say, where you'd have different loot, different outfits, different weapons, different everything, and it'd all be coloured loot, and you'd be picking up different things, and then you'd have enemies with different levels above the head, and you'd have all that stuff. I don't think that's in it this time. It's very much a stealth kill will take down pretty much most people, and so far so good. It's very much. I don't know what to say about it. It does feel a little pared down, and like I say, I think that's a good thing. I think that they're saying like the average time to beat is between 15 and 20 hours, and I think that I like that fact is not 120 hours or something like that for the last few, and so I might actually finish this one. I've never finished any Assassin's. I think I've nearly finished Origins, but I've never finished any of the new ones. But so far, I like the setting. I like the. I don't know. I like just wandering around because it is pretty much just set in one large area. It's not like this thing where it sprawls across this massive map. It's just like a big city, and I like just kind of winding down narrow walkways and alleys, and there's loads of little there's little nooks and crannies that you can just wander off into and find different things. And I don't know. I just like playing. I don't mind playing the historical stuff. If anything, I'm the opposite of Kev. Kev likes all the modern day stuff. I like all the historical stuff.
Nerd.
So I prefer the just wandering about. I prefer to get rid of the stuff. So I'm happy that it's gone. Yes. I think I've not played. I can't remember this, but I feel like it goes back the way it mechanically works. It's hold A in a direction will make you just kind of move, and you get near things and you will scale. Hold B and move the analog stick and you will descend. And I think that was more in the older games. And I'm not. It's taking some getting used to, because I feel like the other ones were just pretty much climb anything you want. Whereas this one, sometimes I feel like I run up to walls and nothing happens, and sometimes I just kind of I'm like glued to things. I just kind of like as if I've run past and I've got Velcro attached to me, and I kind of just randomly just grab a wall for some reason. Because I think if you hold A, I think A also does that. Does it sprint or something like that? I can't remember. No, it doesn't. But I don't know. It seems small. It seems pared down, and it seems finishable, which is ultimately what I want. And it seems more or less what I've been playing previously. And like I say, this is the other thing. I'm not a massive Assassin's Creed person. I want to say I played a little bit.
Says the guy who plays them all.
I played all the recent ones. I played Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. What was the one before that? Syndicate. Maybe. I think I've
I've
played a
not
little
played
bit.
since the one that Connor was in. That was the last one I played.
That was free. I never played
that's the
free.
last one I played.
I played a little. Like I say, I played a little bit of 1, a little bit of 2. No Brotherhood, no Revelations.
See, I played through all of them, all the way through, up until they ruined it with the stupid boats.
Yeah. Well, the boats was what Black Flag.
Yeah,
That was the pirate one. So from what I can see, there's no boats like that in this one. There are little like rowing boats or like boats that you have to get across water with, but it's not like a big ship. So that's gone from what I can tell. I'm only 4 hours in, so I don't know. Yeah, I'll report back on that one. I'll continue to chip away at that one because I'm enjoying what I'm doing and it looks doable. What else have I read? Last time we spoke, I remember saying I'm not going to play Payday 3 unless I'm coaxed out of retirement from Payday 3, which I was coaxed out of retirement for Payday. Pretty much as soon as we finished recording, I jumped into a Discord and then the people that I hang out with just went, yeah, we just all downloaded Payday 3, and I went, oh no, don't do this. So I'm back on Game Pass because I refused to pay the money for it because I was like, I just don't want to do this. And they were like, oh, just get on Game Pass. I said, right, okay, I'll get a month. We'll see how we get on. And yeah, Payday 3 is very much old Payday 2. Just looks a bit nicer. I want to say we have done a total of... We've finished 1 level in the week or so that we've played it. We have finished 1 level. We've started 2. But starting a level... I mean, the first time we played it, we spent an hour just casing a joint. Just literally, there's a bank as the first level, and we just wandered around the bank, looking at locations, looking at things to do for an hour, deciding whether we just don't want to set off the guards or anything like that. So we just spent an hour just wandering around the place, trying to figure out key cards, trying to figure out stuff. And then we got up the courage to eventually get what we needed, and then obviously it goes wrong at some point, and then we have to start shooting people, and then you have to get the explosives and blow a hole in the wall to get the money out of the safe, and so on and so forth. And then you've got to escape, and we did eventually escape, and we did. And we got a bit of money, and we did it 2 more times, pretty much the exact same way, because we're trying to perfect it. We're trying to do it stealthily. We're trying to do it quietly without the whole like 500 police officers and ninjas and riot police turning up to kill us. But we never did it. There'll be a way to do it. I just don't know how yet. And then the second mission was in a nightclub, I want to say. And we very nearly did that one as well, straight the first time. It went loud immediately because we got seen on a camera, I think. And we very nearly did it without realising that we were putting bags of our loot into the back of a van, and we're meant to put it in like a crane winch system that goes up out of the skylight. So we had to then move all the luggage, all the loot back out of the van into the skylight, but we eventually died because there was too many baddies, cops. It's fine. If you have a group of people to play it with, then sure, go for it. It's on Game Pass. Give it a go. But you kind of got to know what you're going into with this game. It's one of them games where you want to be quiet and go about it, and that's the way you're going to succeed and get a lot more money doing that way. But you can just go in loud and just shoot your way through it. But I wouldn't play this alone. I wouldn't play this with random matchmaking. I won't play this with randoms. Just be crazy. Yeah, that is on Game Pass, and like I said, I'm sure I'll tinker with it in and out just as and when the group is around to play it. What else has come out in the last few weeks? Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's good now, apparently.
Oh, I don't believe you.
Yes, apparently it is, and I can confirm it is very good.
Did it get like a DLC? Yeah, sorry.
Yes, the new DLC came out, The Phantom Liberty, with good old Idris Elba. and it
I've
is.
heard of him.
Sorry.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. He's in it. Yep. And he's like a sleeper agent sort of thing, I want to say. So the whole start of the game, the whole start of the DLC sort of thing, is I booted the game back up and it's like all this new 2.0 updates come through, and all your points have gone, all your skill points, all your things you need to respec. I had to put like 40 odd points back into the new designed tree. I don't know what I've done. I genuinely don't know what I've done because I don't remember any of it.
So have they like completely remade? Because I've got it
everything.
installed, but I've never turned it on and played it.
Yes, then update it, and now's the time to play it. Apparently.
Nice, perfect.
I'm turning my PlayStation on now to re-download.
It's but it seems very good from what I've played. Like I said, you start off and you have to get into Dogtown. Dogtown is a new area for the Phantom Liberty DLC, and it's an area like controlled by
me.
Well, no, but a person, and
Dogtown, baby.
And someone is bringing down an aeroplane, and that aeroplane has the president in it, and
Kevin.
you have to then protect the president and get her to safety. And then that's where you have to go and find Idris Elba, who is a sleeper
Sounds like
agent.
a fever dream, Pav. It sounds like
it is. People have said it, and I see it. It is compared to Escape from New York.
Sheepdog's trying to kill President Kev. I need Idris Elba to save him.
Yeah, but yeah. It seems good from what I played. Like I say, it looks unbelievable. It looks absolutely unreal. It looks absolutely stunning. It really does. They've done an absolutely amazing job with how it looks and runs. And I'll be honest with you, you play this and you realise that Starfield is lacking. As I was just content, happily just playing my Starfield game, and then this game came out and it's kind of ruined it for me, because it puts it to shame a little bit in how it plays, how it feels, how the mechanics work, how the story, how it looks, everything about it is just another step up. And I don't know, it's quite a, like I say, I think it's a sizable DLC. It's like another 15 to 20 hour job for this Phantom Liberty DLC. So it's one of them things that I will just chip in and check in on it every now and again. Because, like I say, it's that time of year now where games are coming out thick and fast. And
yeah,
that 15 to 20 hour mark. What?
So you're saying that game's thick and fast. Sorry, I went to segue and say I just seen that Bluey the video game's coming out in a month.
Is it coming out in a month?
I'm going to see if I can get Ben to play that so I can sort of live vicariously through him. He can sit and play that while I sit next to him.
What else have I played then? The only other thing that of significance that I have played is a game that I have been keeping an eye on for a while. It came out because I have Game Pass now. I saw that it came to Game Pass. It's called Cocoon. Anybody heard of Cocoon before? Probably
This
not.
sounds made up.
Isn't there a film called that? But go on.
There is a film called Cocoon, yeah. But it's not based on that. No, I don't think it's anything to do with that. No. You're like it's from one of the people who made Limbo and Inside. So it's that kind of caliber of game, and it's
Did you
a
say
puzzle.
It takes you on an adventure across worlds within worlds.
Yeah, so you're reading that.
Yes.
I
was just really. I just felt
poet.
that's where you were going
he's
with
a
it.
poet.
I'll be honest with you, if you hadn't have turned your head, it's because you got the camera on. You turned and looked away, and so I was like, he's doing something. I just don't know what. But yes, it is a game where it's a puzzle game where you come out. You're like an insect sort of thing, and
All right. I was only reading. You don't need to be mean.
That was harsh.
Yeah. You're like a little bug, and you have this like isometric top down kind of looking world, and you do like a series of puzzles in it, and you do a certain amount of it, and it's like pulling levers, moving switches, opening doors, moving things in, like using. It's all puzzle based, and you do it to a certain point, and you kind of get transported out of that world, and then you're outside of it, and then you're in another world, but the world that you just come out of is like an orb in front of you, and then you can then pick that up and put it on your back, and then that then becomes an item that you can use in the new world. And say, for example, so there are different coloured orbs, so different coloured worlds. So there's the first one that you come out, I think, is orange, and you can use the orange orb to see hidden paths in this new world, and you can then put this orange orb on certain things to trigger something else in that world. In the new world, the new one is green, I think. Second one, I think that's on as far as I got, and the second one is green. So then you can then like collect things in the green world, take it back into the orange world, and do more progress in that world, and then come back out again, and you'll come out somewhere different in the green world. And yeah, it's kind of mind bending. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's really cool. And I felt myself I couldn't put it down when I was playing it. The only reason I stopped playing it is because there are boss fights in this game. And they're not particularly difficult. It kind of directs you to what you need to do with it, but it's finessing what you need to do and getting to do what it wants you to do. Once you've done it, it's pretty straightforward. But every time you don't really die. They kind of just throw you out of the world. The boss throws you, and you kind of get thrown out of the orb, sort of thing, and you end up back, and you have to go back into the orb, and then you go back and do the boss fight again. But I got onto the second boss, and it just kept throwing me out of it, and I got annoyed and turned it off, and I was like, I've not been back to it since, just because of the whole massive games that we're playing. But it's also, because it's on Game Pass, I can't play it on my Steam Deck, but it is out on Steam, and I'm toying with getting it on Steam just so I can have it on Steam Deck, because it seems like a fun little game that I would enjoy there. So yes, I'm toying with just stopping playing it on Game Pass just to be able to play it again on Steam. But we'll see. But other than that, that's pretty much all I've played. I've played all sorts of other things. I played a bit more Starfield, fallen out with it. I've played a bit more Fall Guys. Not fallen out with that, but I'm surprised at how much fun I'm enjoying that. Oddly, I've been playing Mortal Kombat 11 as well for some reason. But other than that, that is your lot. That is it for me, an eclectic bunch this week.
Well, then I guess we'll wrap things up there. If you would like to follow us on the internet, you can do that at Mgukpodcast, or you can follow me at Lelujo.
You can follow me at RB6K.
And you follow me at Pab1986.
And we will see you in 2 weeks' time, boys and girls.
See you in 3 weeks.
Thank you for listening, folks.